Jai Shri Krishna. Happy Thursday. And moon has crossed the Ashlesha Nakshatra point and it has entered Magha Nakshatra now. And happy Thursday. So moon is in Magha, the natural fifth house. Okay, where there is Ketu and Venus also there. Okay. But they are on, one of them is in Magha, one of them is in Pura Falguni Nakshatra. Moon is in Magha Nakshatra and it's Thursday. So today is Thursday, right? And Jupiter is in exaltation. So I'm going to be talking about a very important and interesting and an insightful topic about Muhurta and Muhurta for passing the entrance competitive exams. Okay, what is the Muhurta? See, the idea is that you know this and you work and navigate through this. Okay, there is a fine line between fate and free will. There is a fine line, and you should know where that line is. Okay, so Muhurta is the line, Muhurta is the determinant. Everything is about Muhurta. Okay, watch my earlier videos on Muhurta and you will understand that. All right, so before we go into the Muhurta for passing the entrance competitive exams, right, first let's understand the basics here. Okay, the basics is, first, who is needed for the karakas for passing exam, and the planet and the bhava, both we have to understand. And in a way, Rashi also you can understand that. So planet, Jupiter and Mercury. Okay, why Jupiter and Mercury? Both of them get Digbala in the first house in Kalpurush, Buddhi, right? Jupiter and Mercury. Okay, and first house is associated with brain. That is why they get strength in the first house in Kalpurush. All right, okay. What else is there? Next is both Jupiter and Mercury has an understanding knowledge of all the Vedas, Puranas, and all the information. Mercury is actually mastered all the 64 arts and crafts. Okay, see, so and Jupiter is the guru, teacher. Okay, Mercury is not a teacher. Mercury is a prince, but he's learnt it. Okay, so Mercury is very smart. Okay, all right. Now, Mercury is also moon's child, and Jupiter's, also has a connection with Mercury here in a way, as the father who is like a stepfather. Okay, and Jupiter is connected directly with Brahma as a grandson. Okay, so watch my videos from decoding Navagrahas from Brahma, right, and you will understand that. Okay, next, sixth house. Sixth house is very important for competitive exams. The natural sixth house is Virgo, so Virgo gets connected. Virgo is all about books. Okay, Virgo is all about books. The sixth house itself is your bookshelf, like your book library, all those things. Okay, that is where Venus also in a way gets debilitated and Mercury gets exalted. All right, look at all the 6,000 nakshatras. You have Sun nakshatras, Moon nakshatras, and Mars nakshatras. In the natural 6,000, Kalpurush, Virgo. And Mercury gets exalted exactly at 15 degrees in Hasta nakshatra. And it's exactly at the center. It doesn't go this way, it doesn't go that way. Okay. Now, so you understood Jupiter, Mercury, 6th, and Virgo. These key important things, Rashi-wise. Okay. Again, right, remember every video you watch of my video, you have to see which ascendant you are. This is important. You have to know which ascendant. Team A ascendant or Team B ascendant. You have to categorize yourself whenever you're watching all my videos, wear your hat or as a Team A ascendant or a Team B ascendant. And let's say, for example, okay, let's take for example, or maybe more than example, let's first break it down. Okay, let's break it down. Team A ascendant. Before we go to examples and stuff. Team A ascendant, Aries, right? Then Scorpio, Sagittarius, Pisces, and you have Cancer, Leo. Next, Team B ascendant, you have Virgo, Gemini, and Taurus, Libra, and Capricorn and Aquarius. Okay. Now let's look at, so you have to know which ascendant you are. From here on, watch the video. Okay. Now let's look at what is classical textbooks like BPHS, Parashara Horashastra by Maharishi Parashara, Jataka Alankara, Brihat Samhita, right? All of them says about Muhurta for passing the competitive exams, entrance exams. It can be GRE, GMAT, SATs, LSAT, TOEFL, any of those things. Okay, all right. First, Brihat Parashara Horashastra, BPHS. That's the Bhagavad Gita here. Okay, it says to clear a competitive exam, the native is competing rivals, which is sixth house, the Runa Roga Chaturasthana, and seeking higher education, fortune, which is ninth house. Okay, ninth house. Fifth is also connected because fifth to fifth is ninth. Okay, higher education is typically fifth and ninth comes in. Okay, all right. When electing an auspicious hour, right, the transit chart of that movement must ensure the sixth lord, ninth lord, right, and fifth house lord. Fifth comes intellect. So fifth is intellect, right, or well placed and not combust or depleted in strength. Okay, not combust or depleted in strength. Okay, next. Okay, Brihat Samhita by Varahamihira. For competitive exams, right, or appearing before authorities, use either Brahma Muhurta. See, Brahma Muhurta is before the sun rising, which is very difficult. It's not possible. Or it says Datri Muhurta. Okay, Mitra Muhurta or Abhijit Muhurta. So Abhijit Muhurta. Okay, Mitra Muhurta means in a way when moon is in one of your Mitra nakshatra and Lagna is favorable, and Lagna and moon should be in strength. Lagna moon cannot be towards 6, 8, 12 to each other. Okay, the eighth Muhurta of the day around midday is when Abhijit Muhurta is the eighth Muhurta. Okay, with strong Lagna and Lagna Lord. That has to be there. Always Lagna Lord has to be with strength. Moon has to be strength, nakshatra has to be favorable. Okay, I know I'm saying a lot, right? But this is how astrology is. It's not 5 plus 4 equals 9. As I always give an example, you go get a loan from a bank for $100 and you're supposed to pay monthly payments and you're not paid and you want to give back $100 to the bank. You have to pay simple interest, compound interest, penalty interest, all those things together. It is not you just pay 100 and you're not done with it. Okay, and on top of it you'll get ding for your credit score. So this is what it is. Okay, Jataka Alankara. Jataka Alankara is one of my favorite books also, and it gives other Brihat Samhita, Varahamihira's and PPHS. Okay, Jataka Alankara says an individual will gain victory in debates and academic challenges if Mercury, intellect, so Mercury comes, and Jupiter, wisdom, are placed in quadrants, kendras or trikonas. Now you got to be careful about Kendradipati dosha here when you're using dual ascendants. So I always say do not use dual ascendants. Okay, movable or fixed is best. In that case, the Kendradipati dosha kind of gets out, but you still have to be careful. Okay, for an Muhurta ascendant, ensure the ascendant lagna of the exam, however, places Mercury or Jupiter in the first, fourth, fifth, seventh, ninth, and 10th house from lagna. So first, fourth, fifth, seventh, ninth, or 10th. This is what Jataka Alankara says. All right. Now the core Panchanga rules, right, for exam. Okay. Auspicious tithis wise, if you look at it, Dvitiya, Tritiya, Panchami. Panchami itself is ruled by Mercury. Mercury energy is there. Ekadeshi. They're all favorable. Okay. Avoid Rikta. And I've already done a video about Rikta, right? Tithis like the 4th, 9th, and the 14th. Okay. Auspicious stars, nakshatras, moon nakshatras. Now you have to have, whenever you're looking at nakshatra, you have to look at Navtara. And you have to look at Chandrabala, Tarabala. It cannot be 6, 8, 12, 3, 8 or more. The fixed and movable, they say is good. Shravana, Pushya, Uttarashada, Hasta, and Revati. This is what the book says. Is I would also add Swati to it. Okay, Swati. Moon is in Libra. Okay, so I'm going to add also Swati to it. Now, then it says Wednesday, Mercury day logic, Thursday, Jupiter day wisdom. Okay, and Sundays it also says specifically for government, anything like government jobs, IAS, IF, whatever, IPS, etc. Right, government stuff, authorities for government alignment, etc. Now, I always say now break it down, Team A ascendant. Okay, Team A ascendant, break it down, use to Thursday and Jupiter or Moon Hora. Team B ascendant, use Wednesday and Venus Mercury Hora. You can also use that. Always remember Lagna and Moon strength, right, is important. Moon has to be with strength. Rahu, Ketu, Saturn and all is out, right? And another thing is Lagna and Moon strength. When I say that, you can see that it will be in same position, right? When I say same position, what I mean is put Lagna and Moon together. The best is put Lagna and Moon together at the time of doing the exam or trying to do that. It may not be practically possible, but the best Muhurta is Lagna and Moon together in either a movable house or a fixed Lagna, movable or fixed. Okay, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu should not be there, and the 6th Lord connection with the 11th house, meaning 6th Lord going to the 11th. So you have to work. Muhurta takes time. Okay. So I have always given muhurtas for people for competitive exams and, undergoing GMAT, GRE, TOEFLs and all those things. But you have to work around it. Once you know the window of dates and time, one can work with. Timing wise, check for Rahu Kal, right? Rahu Kal. Jupiter, Venus, Moon, Mercury in transit must be with strength. Most important. Key remedies, pray to your Kuladevata and your Moon Nakshatra remedies, right? Your Moon Nakshatra remedies before the exam, including the Vishnu Sahasranama remedies. All right. This will help to ensure. But to summarize, think about it is 80% you have to do effort for the exam. Okay. That 20% or that luck, what you're going to get is through the Muhurta. If you come and tell me, Srini, I don't even want to study for the exam. Okay. I don't even want to study for the exam and I just want to ace through the exam. Will the Muhurta help? It won't help. It won't help. But if you study 80% effort, if you put really, and you need that luck factor, that blooming, blossoming factor of luck, right? Then Muhurta will help. For me personally, right? For my entrance exams, I remember back then, I never liked the G alphabet, because GRE and GMAT starts with G, and I had to do both GRE and GMAT because I did my master's and my MBA in the US, right? And I didn't want to study. So what I did is I used the Muhurta for the GRE and GMAT. Okay, so without studying, I went backtrack to see what is the minimum cutoff score to score GRE and GMAT, and I used it, and I was happy with it. I was working in a job full time, and why I don't want to study, I just didn't feel it. But I want to study MS and MBA, both. It came, and I did my MS and MBA. Okay, for the record, I did my MS in 1 year in the US, and it's not possible, and I did it. And I did my MBA in 2.5 years. Again, full time working, and I did my MBA. Both itself was, for me itself, it's a achievement because I never thought I would do, nor I thought I would finish in 1 year and 2.5 years, right? But my point is, right, I wanted to know what was the minimum cutoff for the school which I was applying, and I was happy with that. I didn't want to ace in GRE and GMAT. That was just my, my information, my thought process. Okay, everybody is different. I get it. So I put in very minimum effort, but I used the Muhurta to get the admission and what I want and pass and come out decent grades. I was in the top, so that's okay. Yeah. So again, make sure that you apply 80% effort and then 20% is the Muhurta. Okay, that's it. That's how it is. Don't Don't depend everything. Don't deny the fact that you're not going to study and use the Muhurta. Don't do that. That is wrong. Okay, I just want to clarify in this case, right? So I'm giving this only to make sure you use that 80% and people want to get that luck factor, right? That luck factor, that blessing factor, that's the Muhurta. Again, to bring back Muhurta and to align everything, it's not easy. Okay, it takes a lot of time because there's so many rules and sub rules here. Okay, look at the header picture. It will help you a lot. Okay, with header picture to work around and take your notes, and then you work on the Muhurta on your own as well. Yeah, or you can consult somebody locally in wherever you are as well. That's the whole point. Okay, I hope this video was helpful, guys. Yeah, and if you like the video, please do press the like button, share it with your friends and family, and of course, do follow the channel as well. Yeah, Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you.